Welcome back to Cockadoodle Coo, where we discuss a very real threat to all humans, the chicken apocalypse. I'm your host, Pete Wallace, and I'm here to sound the alarm, raise awareness, and prevent catastrophe.
Episode 34, The Idiot Box, Bikini Bottom, and a Goat.
Look into the eyes of a chicken, and you will see real stupidity. It is a kind of bottomless stupidity, a fiendish stupidity. They are the most horrifying, cannibalistic, and nightmarish creatures in the world. No, these were not my words. That was a quote by Werner Herzog, German film director, writer, and actor. Today, we will look at how chickens are portrayed on screen. I appreciate how passionate and candid Mr. Herzog was with his statement, but I must respectfully disagree about chicken stupidity. I do understand why he said what he said, but scientific studies have shown chickens do possess intelligence. Regardless, he and I do agree on all other descriptions of these beasts: fiendish, horrifying, cannibalistic, and nightmarish. It is interesting how chickens are portrayed on screen, be it film or on shows for TV and streaming. For example, CMT created the documentary Chicken People, which looks at the colorful and competitive world of champion show chicken breeders. The film follows humans and their feathered competitors on the path to compete at the Ohio National Poultry Show, considered by some to be the Westminster of chickens. Chicken People is entertaining and amusing, but also quite alarming. It's crucial to shine a light on this world for educational purposes, if nothing else. But don't be swayed by any perceived fame or fortune attributed to poultry. This is a slippery slope indeed. And you best believe we will revisit the Westminster of chickens another time. I have not watched the wildly popular Game of Thrones series, but I'm told there's a prequel called Dunk and Egg. I haven't seen it, but Jewel the intern tried to explain it to me, and I think I have the main takeaways. So, let me see. Dunk is a nickname for Sir Duncan the Tall, a wandering knight. He was also humble and chivalrous and an all-around great guy. Egg is a nickname for Aegon Targaryen, who became Sir Duncan's squire. I believe Egg's son married his daughter secretly, so they were essentially scrambled eggs, I guess. Ultimately, Egg died in a fire, so he pretty much ended up a fried egg. And I'll refrain from making a cheeky reference to all the king's men and all the king's horses. The bottom line, even in the Game of Thrones universe, chicken and egg association is negative. In the Netflix 2018 series Lost in Space, there is a chicken named Debbie. She is adopted by Don West, a main character, and previously belonged to another character. In Season 1, Don adopts Debbie after she saves his life. Saved his life? I don't think so. She happened to have a locator chip on her ankle, which allowed Don to be found just before an entire desert of black death almost dumped on his head, whatever that actually means. Debbie had no say or active part in saving Don. So wake up, Don. The show name Lost in Space apparently means that Don is lost and also happens to be in space. Don't be fooled like Don. That chicken was simply lucky to be in the right place at the right time. In the popular Fox TV series Family Guy, there's a running character, Ernie the Giant Chicken, a villain. Every time he appears in the show, Peter, the show's main character, drops what he's doing and engages in a violent fight with Ernie. Understand, this is no ordinary chicken. It was suggested that Ernie was created in a lab in an attempt to clone a chicken, but instead, a hostile man-sized chicken was created and ended up escaping. Now, Peter always seems to win the fight. Ernie has been stabbed, hanged, chopped up to bits, drowned, and even roasted to death. Yet he never seems to die somehow. Almost like Mike the Headless Chicken. If nothing else, this fictional character serves as an important warning to all. Chickens are dangerous and downright combative. So from smoke and mirrors to downright belligerence, not a good look for chickens so far. The next show we'll mention today, I was a bit surprised to learn, had chicken references. It's a wildly popular show that's been on for decades and has inspired movies, music, and video games and merchandise of all kinds. Our research led to the following interview with Professor of Oceanography and former TV guide writer J. Elliott Chamberlain. The show? SpongeBob SquarePants. Thanks for joining us, Professor. So, Bikini Bottom isn't just a silly underpants or swimwear reference, correct?
Correct. It refers to an actual location in the South Pacific Ocean where the United States conducted nuclear testing in the 1940s. It's called the Bikini Atoll.
Really?
So this suggests SpongeBob and other members of his community are mutant creatures affected by nuclear activity.
Fascinating.
There's even a little Easter egg in the monster who came to Bikini Bottom in season 7. It shows a copy of Toxic Waste Monthly magazine. It's a kind of sister episode to Welcome to Bikini Bottom Triangle. But we don't have time to go through all that symbolism.
Right. Let's focus. Chickens.
Right. So, it's this backdrop of nuclear testing and resulting effect on sea life. Such an unrealistic fictional world that we see on display, yet in this animated undersea universe, chickens are suspect at best.
What's one example?
Well, in the episode Little Yellow Book from season 9, SpongeBob is betrayed by his coworker and neighbor, Squidward.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Squidward reads SpongeBob's diary and then uses those private, intimate thoughts to humiliate SpongeBob. And how, you say? Tricking SpongeBob into acting like a chicken in front of everyone at the Krusty Krab.
How embarrassing.
True. But the situation must have struck a negative chord with quite a few people as it became a meme about mocking others.
So what's another example?
Mr. Sea Chicken. He appears in an episode titled Masterpiece in season 7. He's an enemy of Eugene Krabs. He opened a new restaurant called the Sea Chicken Shack to steal Mr. Krabs' customers.
A chicken as a villain. Unsurprising.
Right outside the shack is a huge, realistic yet unsafe statue of Mr. Sea Chicken for kids to play on. Even the cashier appears to be short-tempered and kicked SpongeBob out of the restaurant.
Well, I can't imagine being happy working for a sea chicken at a sea chicken restaurant.
True, but this sea chicken character should not be confused with the chicken of the sea, of course.
Oh, of course, no connection. And to be clear, the Chicken of the Sea Company, which is what they're called, do not actually make or sell chicken. Okay, so are there any positive references to chicken in SpongeBob?
Well, I think there's one, arguably. In Code Yellow, season 10, SpongeBob tries to cure a catfish who is suffering from a sore throat, and he asks for a medical sea chicken.
Medical sea chicken?
Yes, the purple doctor grabs the sea chicken from the first aid kit, and SpongeBob plucks a feather from the chicken. The chicken then flies out the window. He then uses the feather to tickle the catfish, who coughs up the keys he swallowed.
So, the chicken doesn't actually do anything except exist.
Correct. In fact, as soon as something helpful comes from the chicken, he leaves.
Well, that seems about right.
You know, SpongeBob's creator, Steven Hillenburg, taught marine biology before creating the show and worked to educate the public about marine science and maritime history.
I think I've heard that about him.
He's a smart and creative man, and he knew what he was doing. The bottom line is, over the course of more than 250 episodes and 4 feature-length movies, even in a far-fetched nuclear wasteland under the sea scenario, chickens are still only either a humiliating behavioral reference or a villain trying to put our hero, SpongeBob, out of work.
And there you have it. Thankfully, the big screen also hasn't presented chickens in a positive light, for the most part. In film, chicken portrayal typically falls into one of 3 categories. First, a character in an animated or kids movie such as Kung Fu Panda, Chicken Little, or Surf's Up. Because, face it, actual chickens and roosters are not congenial and are not going to cooperate. so the only way they can appear as a protagonist is when they are completely fabricated. Live-action chicken hero? Not gonna happen. Second category. Comic relief, as in Hot Shots Part 2 or Rocky 2. In Rocky 2, Rocky just chases a chicken as a training exercise in one amusing scene. In Hot Shots Part 2, the main character confronts a bad guy, but he's out of arrows in his quiver. So he grabs a chicken, loads it in his bow, and fires it into his enemy's chest, killing the guy. The scene was so iconic that I believe it became the movie poster. Last common characterization. A reason to be afraid in a scary movie. There's 1987's Beaks the Movie, in which a reporter investigates a story of chickens attacking a farmer, but then discovers it wasn't an isolated incident. And no, I was not involved in the production of that landmark film. And then there's Poltergeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, in which zombified chickens attempt to kill the fast food workers that cook them. It would have been taken more seriously if they hadn't focused so much on the zombie chickens, but it was just a parody. And of course, there's Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, with its reference to chickens acting weird, not eating, etc., and no real explanation for why birds attacked. And apparently, Tippi Hedren, the lead actress, went on to become quite an animal activist in real life afterward. Not for chickens or birds, mind you, but for lions and tigers. So, even eccentric Hollywood, as creative as they can be, know their limits when it comes to chickens. Again, on TV or in the theater, it comes down to this. At best, chickens are friendly but fictional characters. At worst, they attack humans. We'll be back after this break. Last item today. A goat who became a Florida man. Play that forward, and now, chicken yoga is a thing. There's a town in Florida called Ybor City where chickens are so beloved they can pretty much go wherever they want and do whatever they want. The chickens of Ybor are protected by a 1989 ordinance declaring the entire city a bird sanctuary. They have legal protection to poop anywhere and crow any time of the day they like. You can't even use a broom to shoo one off of your property. Then last year, a goat came to town. Ybor City is next door to Tampa, so yes, the goat I'm talking about is Tom Brady. Now, for those who are not aware, GOAT is an acronym that stands for greatest of all time. Sports fans love to argue over who is the GOAT in each sport, and in this case, Tom Brady's success on the field earns him that label. Sure, Tampa Bay's NFL franchise has some talented coaches and players already, and Mr. Brady had to consider the Bucs along with other NFL suitors. However, there's always more than just the job when deciding to relocate. Tom and his famous wife, Gisele Bündchen, had been keeping chickens at their home in L.A., so that must have been part of the sales pitch for the team to get Tom to play there. Maybe they didn't even have to. In a welcome letter to Mr. Brady, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor specifically suggested Ybor City as a place to check out. Why do you suppose that is? Mind you, at the nearby University of Tampa, they have no agriculture department. A classic case of they don't know what they don't know. So congratulations on the Super Bowl win to Tom and the Bucs. Things appear to be working out on field so far. But I wonder, have Tom and Gisele joined the Ybor Chicken Society yet? That would only exacerbate things. Chickens already roam around, scratch up your landscaping if they like, and you just have to live with it. Now, Florida man can do chicken yoga. Yes, chickens are bathed and diapered before escorted into yoga class to join their human in crescent lunges and warrior poses. Florida man, and of course Florida woman, are worrisome enough, but Florida chicken? Oh, what a slippery slope you are on, Mr. Brady. Cockadoodle Coo has picked up more listeners in more countries around the world and is now heard on all but one continent. Amazing. Again, that's Antarctica, where no humans permanently live, so they may not need the warning as much as the rest of us. Regardless, thank you again for your support. And don't forget to call our hotline at 740-301-1723 to leave a comment or question. We hope to have another listener call-in episode soon. Hopefully you see how chickens and roosters have been portrayed on TV and in film as the villains or the source of comic relief. In other words, accurately and fairly. As always, remember to eat chicken and eggs regularly and support local farmers and farmers markets whenever and wherever you can. Subscribe to this podcast and follow Cockadoodle Coo on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or our YouTube channel. Educate yourself. Share the knowledge. Together, we can prevent the unthinkable.